One more thing I wanted to share with you on this potato masher. I like using this because I can mix up a whole bucket of this mud at one time. I put a little bit of water in there, and I mixed it all up to a good consistency. Now I'm at a quandary. What do I do with this potato masher so it doesn't get all dried out? Because I've got to start dipping my my paint roller in here for my mud. So I can't just set this down on the ground because I don't want this to harden up. The last thing I want is for this to harden up, because if I need to use this again to get down into the bottom when this bucket is about halfway empty, I want to use this again, but I don't want any of the mud on here to be all dried and flaky, because if it starts flaking in here, I've got a big huge problem when I'm trying to float the walls or anything else that I'm going to do with the sheetrock mud. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to wipe off this sheetrock mud as best I can. I'm only going to get so much of it off, but there's a reason for this, so stick with me. Anytime I have a thought, I always like to bring up certain things, because if I have that problem, I know you're going to, I'm hoping or thinking you might have that problem too. So I'm just kind of telling you what I do. And then if you got a better idea, go for it. Hey, don't let me hold you back. Okay? I got about like that. Okay, I had an extra bucket. Well, I used all the mud in this one. I cleaned it out nice. Now I've got some water in it. So I'm just going to leave this in the water. It's going to keep the bottom section all moist, so it's not going to dry out. That way I don't have to rinse this off each time. But I've got to reach down in there to wipe this top edge off, because I don't want this to dry out. Because anything in there is going to flake. Okay, so anything above the water line, I'm going to wipe off. See there? I don't really have to wipe off all this bottom, because this is going to be wet and moist. So I'm just going to leave this setting in here. Now next time I need it, I can wipe it off, or I can just lift it up like this, and I can put it directly down back into my mud and start mixing away again. When I'm done with it, I can put it back here. So anytime you use a potato masher, whether or not you're just mixing up mud to put in your bucket, your sheetrock pan, or roller, hawk and trowel, whatever you're doing, make sure you take care of this. Okay? We don't want that. You get little dry bits on here, you let it sit out here, and this gets all dry, and you think, oh, I'll just put it back in here and go. Some of that dry stuff is going to plunk back down into your mix, and the time that you're not going to want it there, it's going to show up on your wall. So, be prepared.